Let's record this, then bury it, and then not do it again. In that order.
No.
Yeah, how is this going to work? Is it going to just...
I'm ignoring the camera and I'm just going to talk to you guys.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
That's the way of going about it.
That's...
Adam's already obsessed with his...
This is for me.
Okay. Yay. Oh, yeah. What are we doing first, by the way?
Oh, yeah.
That's a good question.
Do you have like a long case and a short case, or are they both long?
I feel like these are both kind of similarly
Yeah.
Length?
length.
Yeah. I think that's a good...
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, they're pretty similar.
Is
There's probably a little more twisties and turnies to the Mac case.
Right. Yeah.
Not
Big Mac,
Mm,
I hope?
no Big Mac.
Mac the Shack.
Yeah.
Jerry, can you just move a little bit this way?
It was the special sauce.
Perfect. There we go.
All of my things are everywhere.
What do you think, Jerry? You think we should do the Scully case?
I think do Scully first.
That sounds good.
Scully?
Scully.
All right, Scully.
And Moldier.
Mulder and Scully.
Is there anything, or are these in particular, any of these more depressing than usual?
I don't know. These are kind of fun,
Okay.
as
Yeah, I
Jerry
think
said.
I did say that. And I'm like, I didn't mean they're fun,
Wow.
but they're not.
The only one I could tolerate.
Yeah. So that's gonna that reputation is gonna be short.
Oh God, no! Look, it's,
All right.
It's
I just think they both have like fun elements.
I don't know. Do you think we should pray before?
We should hold hands.
Okay.
Okay. Lord,
Okay.
please bless this podcast.
Excuse me, could the Catholic do it?
No, I'm not. I'm Quaker
Oh,
now.
you're Quaker, right?
Okay, well I'm formerly Jewish but currently Buddhist.
Jerry, Jew. Kim,
I'm still Jewish.
Catholic.
I'm
Adam.
I'm Quaker.
Agnostic. You're not Quaker. Okay.
So then stop holding our hands while we pray.
All right.
Jeez.
That went well. All right. Let's just start.
Lord bless this mess.
Okay.
How about
Okay.
that?
Do it.
Start it.
Pack your body bags. We're going on a Slaycation. Join us as we take a disrespectful... no. Hold on.
Us and
me
our
start again.
shenanigans.
See,
Us and
the
ours.
camera's also going to be fucked up because
Stop.
takes
Paying
Don't worry about the
attention.
camera. Just talk
I'm
to
not
us.
worried about the camera.
Yes, you
I'm
are.
terrified of the camera. Okay. Pack your body bags. We're going on a Slaycation. Join us as we take a disrespectful, victim-shaming, anti-Christian look at murders and mysterious deaths that happened on vacation. I'm
So
kidding, of course.
So disrespectful.
I'm kidding, of course.
Ugh.
That was just a
Happen on vacation.
little shout out. A little shout out to some of the fun reviews we've gotten.
I just want everybody to know I'm outraged on their behalf. Just kidding. No, I'm not. No, I'm
But
not.
you know what though? Let's not let's not start negative. I think there was some great positive feedback that came in our.
There,
I think there was some great positive feedback that came our way.
there
that-
has been some great positive. You know what? There
Indeed.
was one that came. Funny enough, I was just on a trip to South Africa, for our friend Robert and Katie's wedding, and
Congratulations, Robin and Katie.
what they are it was such an amazing wedding. The whole trip was incredible, and we got randomly this week we received a review from Cape Town.
You must have made an impression,
I think
Wow.
it did. I
While
don't think
you were
this
in
review
town.
had anything to do with the fact that I was in Cape Town.
right?
But it is from Soon van Heerden, and she says she's enjoying the dark humor. She says, "Hi, I have tuned in from the very first episode on your podcast all the way from Cape Town, South Africa, where many tourists have unfortunately fallen victim to our insane crime rates. Side note, I did not experience Cape Town as feeling particularly crimey.
Oh.
I know that that's an issue, but we had a great time there.
Right. Also, by the way, it was very brave of you to go on an actual vacation after we've started the show. You're the first one
Yeah.
to actually
Yeah,
take that
not only that,
plunge.
but also went on a safari, which we've done safari
Yeah.
safari murders.
Right.
I did not, as you can tell, I did not get slayed
Slaycated.
on my vacation. In fact, I had a great time. I did not get slaycated.
Good.
She says, I've just started listening to episode 10 where you discuss listeners' feedback, and I have to say, I love your podcast. I enjoy the dark humor. I have literally laughed out loud plenty of times with you. Please ignore the naysayers and keep up the good work. I'm looking forward to slaycating with you. Best regards from sunny Cape Town, Sune. Or Soon. I'm not sure how to say her name.
Well,
Soon, thank you. We love you. We love her. We love all of our slaykaters.
Our people.
You get us. You get us. Yeah.
Yes. We also do love the negative reviews because they're kind of fun.
They
and
are
funny.
kind of fun. Well, Kim, but before we get into that, you had a positive review. Oh, should we save that?
Oh, I don't. You have a positive review you wanted to read?
Well, she wants to give a shout out to somebody.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
do that.
do.
Do that.
I need to give a shout out to my girl Laura. Let me just start by just reading what she wrote.
And make sure to stay on my.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
You all are hilarious, and I appreciate that you don't shy away from airing your honest feelings toward controversial topics. But the thing that got me to write in is what Kim said about yarn.
Yarn.
Like spinning a yarn, like you're telling a story.
I think she means the yarn because Kim was talking about yarn.
Yes.
On which episode? The one on
No, she meant
The Hooter.
yarn, like knitting yarn.
knitting. Yeah, because we were talking about the Hooters case,
Right.
in Myrtle Beach, and how they were collecting Hooters stuff. You were talking about yarn and how obsessed you can get with yarn.
Yes,
Okay.
that is true. Laura goes on to say, I too am an obsessed yarn whore and spend way too much time tracking down deals. That's my girl right there.
Wow. Yarn whores.
Yes.
No, I never heard that term before.
I love it.
I love it. I do love it.
But I must stop buying yarn. And this is all in caps, which I can relate to.
Right.
I have no savings left. I swear, when I die, they'll find my body buried under a mound of yarn.
I love this woman.
Yeah,
I love
so
her.
do I.
I love her.
So do I.
I love her. I love that she's spent all of her money on yarn.
You know how you can make money? You could be a yarn prostitute to make the money to then buy the yarn. So it's like
That's not funny.
A yarn.
Anyway,
sorry.
Are there any hooks involved in yarning? Yarning?
there
Knitting?
is. In
So
fact,
yarn hooker.
she asks, are you a hooker
Oh.
or a stabber or both? Laura, I'm both. Very much both.
Can
You know,
confirm.
on this show, hooking and stabbing could mean very different things.
Well, I
but
think
I'm
that's what
assuming
she
those
was
are-
joking.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
that was
like it.
I like her.
I'm the latter. I used to only knit, but during the pandemic, I really got into crocheting too. I love this. I love this so much. Okay. I saw this funny bumper sticker, but I'm not brave enough to put it on my car. It says, I knit so I don't stab people. Smiley face.
I love her.
Anyway,
Is that why that bumper sticker's on our car now?
you're interrupting me. Just kidding. You can interrupt me.
It's okay.
I give clearance. Anyway, I really enjoy your banter and swearing. Potty mouths unite. Thank you for putting out the show and keep up the great work. Girl, we fucking love you. Thank you for that. A special shout out to Laura, fellow knitter and crocheter and yarn whore.
I love it.
That's
Yarn
great.
whores unite.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The struggle is real.
Your people have found you, Kim.
Yes.
It's
Yes,
great.
they have.
At some point, I need to understand the difference between knitting and crocheting. Maybe not right now,
No,
unless
I,
there's a quick explanation, because it sounds complex. But like, I didn't know those were. I just never
well,
really thought of that.
needles.
So that's a different podcast.
Well, you needles with knitting, you use 2 needles. With crochet, you use a hook.
A hook. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
So then I found one that I wanted to read as well.
Oh, cool. Another positive one.
Well, it says, skip it.
Okay.
Jerry is the only host who's tolerable. The woman is not a good storyteller.
A woman.
And-
Oh my God.
And her husband offers nothing substantial. All he does is interrupt with questions.
That's your job.
Well, which would be answered if he'd only let the woman finish the story. He also makes fun of people's names in the third episode. And it's by a listener. It's called Listen to Me 3303. Listen to Me is the...
Listen to Me 3303. Probably one of our moms.
Right. Cry for Help was already taken. And listen to me. Just listen to me. I have things to say. Well, we did listen.
Yeah.
We heard you. You've been heard. And mocked. I don't know.
Woman. I like it. They can't just say Kim. They know my name.
Oh.
Really, they can't say Kim.
That was the hardest part. Jerry is the only one who's tolerable.
But let's
He
just,
is pretty tolerable. Though,
let's just
honey. We have to
talk for a
agree.
second about that. Like as if that's a compliment, right? Like I'm tolerable.
Right.
That's not a compliment,
right.
guys. I want to be clear. Like
Well, I
saying
think
somebody's like,
it is.
I went to dinner, they were tolerable. That's like not
Right.
that's not a great.
I think she probably is surrounded by tolerable people.
Yeah.
I think
she's-
people tolerate her,
Oh.
and she's passing on the tolerance.
All right, honey, take it easy.
What?
No, I'm just kidding.
Did you write this?
tolerable. I
Maybe.
want to start using that
Anyway.
as like, how was dinner? It was tolerable.
Well,
That's the
okay.
new.
Well, now that we got all that off our chests, let's start our case, because there's some people that are freaking out right now.
Listen, we do tell them in the show notes. We tell you in the show notes for those of you who
Right.
just think that, this should just get straight to the case. We tell you in the show notes at what time in the episode the show starts, so we don't have to hear from you too much banter, too much fun. God forbid there should be fun on a show called Slaycation.
Too much
God
laughter.
forbid the three of us should have a nice time talking before we get into the details of the case. You could freaking read on the fucking internet if you wanted to. So, that is why we tell you in the show notes.
Right.
Case starts at X minutes and seconds, so you can skip it and go to this point in the show where Kim will now take us to.
Well, hold on. Just one last thing. I don't know the case. These two, they know the case. I don't know the case. So they're going to tell me the case and you, the listener. So go for it, Kim. Where are we slaycating today?
All right. Well, the first stop in this story takes place in November of 1997 on a Caribbean cruise ship, the Galaxy, on the Celebrity Cruise Line. So when third engineer George Giadopoulos on the Celebrity cruise ship Galaxy first laid eyes on Julie Scully, he was smitten. So enamored was he with the exotic dark-haired beauty, he remarked to a colleague that he was going to marry that woman. And naturally, as most men taken with a pretty woman, George took every possible opportunity to fawn and ingratiate himself, to curry favor with the pretty passenger.
That's what I did. Not with the passenger, with you.
Aw.
Oh, look how quickly she was ready to fucking attack me, and then suddenly
But
she...
I love you. You know I love you.
Okay.
What is happening right now?
Anyway.
Josh and I could leave if you guys need a second.
If we need a minute. No, we're good. Anyway, he called her cabin several times during the cruise to check in to make sure everything was to her liking. And
Wait, the guy works on the crew? He's
Yeah.
a passenger.
Yes, if you were listening, I said he's the third engineer.
Third engineer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I just thought there were 3 engineers on the boat, and he happened to be the third one that got on.
He's actually
He works-
employed for Royal Caribbean on the boat.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Anyway, so he made a point to reach out and make sure that everything was to her satisfaction.
Right.
And it was.
Okay. Is that the
And-
job of the third engineer?
It is not.
Okay.
No,
It is
really,
his job
it
to
has
keep the ship
pool. Yeah.
whatnot.
So the engines are all fucked up. But the girl is nicely taken care of. All right.
It's like, yeah, the cabin's great. It'd be great if the engines were working.
Look, I
but,
did that
you
at the
know,
bagel store. So
mhm,
Yes.
and a lot worse.
Yes. Anyway, so the chemistry between these two were palpable. And at the conclusion of this voyage, Julie and George exchanged their information. And Julie, feeling every bit the giddy teenager in the throes of love, regaled her friends of the tale of meeting of this handsome Greek sailor of whom she had developed deep and strong feelings. Never mind she was married, but that...
wait, she was married.
Yes.
Oh, not just married.
Wait,
Not just married. but on the cruise with her husband.
Oh, but also, did you say teen? She's not a teenager. You're saying she was like a
Like a
giddy
teen-
teenager.
No, I said like a giddy teenager.
But she was how old?
in her 30s.
In her 30s. Did you
Early
say that too?
30s.
Did I miss that?
No,
Okay.
you're allowed to ask questions.
Oh, I don't know. Between you and the reviewers, this guy's constantly interrupting.
Well, anyway, so they kept in touch, Julie and George, and they began a heated and passionate correspondence. They would speak and exchange love letters.
Right, because this is the 90s, so there was no like texting and stuff.
Right.
It's faxing.
They were faxing each other?
Yeah, they would fax.
Did manage
Really?
to squeeze in
This got some
erotic
faxes.
facts.
That's the stupid machine like going off all the time. Husband's like not aware.
No,
no,
he-
not really. He was
was
pretty
not.
oblivious,
Yeah.
right?
Initially, yeah.
The facts of life.
Yeah.
Oh, the facts of life. Nice.
Should we
So
burst into
two,
song?
two puns in a sentence that no one under the age of 45 will.
That's all right. Our listeners apparently are older.
That is right. That is right. Right.
Anyway,
We see you.
so Julie decided that she wanted to book another jaunt on the high seas and went to her husband and said, "Hey, I have an idea. Why don't we,
Go for another cruise
yeah,
on this very particular boat.
yes. In
Mhm.
fact, you're absolutely right. Because he
Right.
was thinking, yeah, okay, maybe we'll go on another boat. And
Right. When they're booking the trip, it's like, hey, just curious. Like, I don't care who the captain is or the first or second engineer, but is
Petty officer
is George?
Scopadopoulos.
Does George happen to be? It's George, right?
George Scopadopoulos.
well, you
Yeah.
forget
George
that
Papadopoulos from
Skiadopoulos.
Skiadopoulos.
because
Yeah.
George Papadopoulos was the dad from Webster.
But he's
Also
based
another
on-
old
He's
show.
actually based on this petty officer. No, not
No,
really.
that's
Right.
So anyway, she did. So it was the same celebrity cruise ship they booked, and they were just on it 3 months ago.
Right.
Okay.
2 vacations in 3 months.
Yeah, exactly. So in February of 1988, the next stop in this story, the Galaxy, would set sail, and Julie and George would be reunited. And they would consummate their relationship on this voyage.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
like Leo and Kate in the car in Titanic.
What?
I wish I could tell you. I remember what you're talking
The
about.
movie Titanic.
I mean,
they
I
have
saw
sex
that
in a
movie.
car
In a car.
in the boat.
Oh, in the hold.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
something
Mhm.
like that.
Okay.
Anyway, so their love would intensify, and so would more proclamations of lust, more letters of sophomoric expressions of love and devotion, and his affectionate referencing of himself as
I don't know that word.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Oh, he has a funny nickname for himself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, I've never seen him do that. Wow, look at this.
I'm sorry.
So disrespectful.
Nobody's died yet. This is fine.
Okay.
Right, okay.
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay. All right.
1 star.
I just gave us one.
Wow.
I'm creating fake
All right.
names.
No,
on
I
Apple to
got to
give us
hear the
1
name
star.
that's got Kim. That's got Kim unable to
Okay.
talk. All right, ready?
Okay. So his affectionate name for himself was Julie's Macho Baby Man.
Oh,
It's so dumb. It's the worst nickname.
Anyway.
Oh, by the way, can we just mention one other thing about Julie? So Julie is married to a guy named Tim Nist. They actually have a child.
oh.
We should mention that
yeah,
as well.
How old?
Yeah. She was
Maybe a little over a year. At
about
this
a
point.
year
Oh, like a baby.
initially- Yeah, baby. Yes, she's like 1 or 2 years old
Okay.
at this point.
Yeah, she's still pretty little. Anyway, so and they would rack up about $7,000 in phone calls and faxes.
And these bills coming in, because let's just.
Oh, I thought you were going to say licensing fees for that name as they put it on stickers and shirts.
Macho Baby Man. So this was back in the 90s, and just for listeners who were not paying bills at the time or were not particularly old, So you used to have to pay for long distance calls, right? So now you can use your cell phone. You can call
Right.
anywhere, anytime. It doesn't cost more. But it used to be like, 10 cents,
It
20,
was
30 cents a
ridiculous. You
minute
could
to
rack
call
up.
anywhere non-local.
Mm-hmm.
And when it was these phone calls and faxes that
Oh, I see.
got Tim to know it was up because the phone bill came in.
Right.
And he was like, what the hell? It was like thousands and thousands of dollars
Yeah.
of long distance calls. And
To
that's
where?
To wherever he
was.
was.
Right,
he
because
was
he's on the
traveling.
boat, right?
Right.
So that was when he first became aware that,
Mm.
he thought he knew of George's existence.
Right. And he
He
knew
just-
that they were friendly.
He thought they were just friendly, like, like the guy who works on the cruise ship and you're friendly with.
Right.
He had no idea until that point when he got these phone bills in 1998, summer of 98, that there was this crazy, ongoing thing between his wife and George.
And he didn't just expect or suspect that maybe they were just friends. Well, I'm just talking to George from the boat every night.
I mean,
16 months straight.
He may have been, maybe he was like willfully ignorant. They'd been married in, when did they get married? Like 90.
I think it was 90. Yeah.
And so, they'd been together for a little while, and it might be one of these things where he just didn't choose to see it.
Right.
And
And the big pile of faxes.
the faxes, I think.
Well, that's
yeah.
when he noticed.
Oh,
Yeah. But
Right.
yeah, I think like he was doing his thing
right.
and, at
You
this
say
point-
93?
Yeah,
So,
Yeah, that's when Kim and I met.
it was. Yes.
one other interesting fact about Julie before, because now we laid the groundwork for how they met on this cruise, and the faxes and the phone calls. Can I just mention a couple things about Julie and her
Yes.
background that I think
Yes.
are interesting? So she was a model, right? She was very pretty.
Mhm.
She was like a local, like, tri-state area model.
Right. She had submitted her picture, her and her husband had submitted a picture to a local newspaper.
Yeah, and so she'd won a contest. She'd been doing advertisements, and so there was she actually had gone on the Maury Povich show in 1992
Right.
with the editor of the Page Six, which I guess is Daily News or New York Post. I
Mm.
can't remember which one that.
I think it was
Page 6
Page
is the
six.
post.
Post.
Well,
No, it wasn't the Post though.
What one of these New York tabloid daily papers had been
Mhm.
getting attacked by women's rights activists, and she went on Maury Povich to defend.
Yeah, she was like, "You women libbers."
Yeah,
oh, she
Right.
took the other side.
took the
Yeah.
other side.
Okay.
Yeah. She also was on Hard Copy.
Maury Povich was also like, macho baby man, you are not the father.
Different Maury Povich
Right,
era,
right.
but yes.
Okay.
So she was pretty well known around because she was a model.
She was a
So
local
She was
celebrity.
a little celebrity.
You got a
right?
picture of her?
Yes. She was free. Oh, here's what it was. She was frequently pictured in the Page Six Girls section of Trenton, New Jersey. That's what it was. Trenton's tabloid paper, the Trentonian. Her image on billboards helped boost the newspaper's circulation and made her a local celebrity.
Oh.
And she got promotional work for beer brands like Coors Light. And this is her here. This is actually her with.
See, I can't look up too much stuff because then I
That's
want to know
it.
anything about the case.
That's her with her husband and her baby.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
Now he was a very wealthy guy.
Had his own landscaping business.
Mhm. Very successful, very wealthy. They met on a yacht party in
But not so
1991.
wealthy that that he doesn't just let the phone bill slide.
Well,
I mean, no matter how wealthy you are, like thousands of dollars of phone
Right.
bills is just whether you let it slide or not. Whether you can afford
just
it. It's
noticing,
like,
like-
why is that happening?
Right.
Like, why are we spending $3,000 a month on,
Right.
on long distance calls? So.
Sorry.
So anyway, so that's a little background. So now we're at the point. Sorry, Kim. I just wanted to sidebar on Julie.
this is how we.
So she's a local celebrity. They lived in Jersey?
In
Yes.
Trenton,
Gotcha.
Trenton, New Jersey.
Yes.
Okay, so now we're up to the point where husband Tim, has discovered
Mhm.
the phone bills, fax
Right.
bills.
So he's aware, and there was a point too where her and George had planned a getaway in Toronto, and she had met his ship on a port call, And it was around this time where her and George decided that they needed to be together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, leave Tim,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, leave Tim.
take the baby?
Yeah.
No.
Well, she tried to say she was going to take the baby, but he wasn't going to just go, okay.
You mean, well, right. Now, let me just back up 1 second. So, Tim, when he discovered that there was an affair, he knew it was George from the
Mhm.
boat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, I
Right.
think he was aware that they were talking. I don't think he was aware that it was a fiery, passionate
Right.
baby
Like-
George,
Like
whatever.
he was happy to book the second trip around George being on the boat because George had been friendly with them as a
Right,
couple.
but he didn't know that
Correct.
they were having a thing
Correct.
before the second. So what I would have done if I was him,
Oh, boy.
is I would have booked a third trip. Hey, guess what? Let's go on another cruise. And then you got both of them there to throw off the boat. Catch them in the act,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
go crazy, throw them off the boat.
I mean, the
I'm just saying that's an option.
It is an option. It's not.
It's an
It's
option.
not what happened.
Okay.
I mean, the interesting thing too is it was during this period where she was having some mental health issues. She was struggling
Oh.
with depression. She was also drinking and partaking in alcohol and substances. And I think also Tim was wanting to help lift her spirits. So he was open to kind of doing whatever it would take
Right.
to, make
Yeah.
her happy.
Like letting her be with her boyfriend.
Well, I don't know that that's.
Oh.
No.
No, not that. Okay. That's too far.
But
But, uh-oh. Why are you making that face?
Julie would pack up all her worldly possessions, and on December 6, 1998, a little over a year after that first encounter on the Galaxy, Julie would board a plane to her destination, Kavala, Greece, to begin her new life with George.
That's the home of George.
Mm-hmm. He
Yep.
lives in Kavala. And, George had actually come to the States.
Yes,
Right. So after husband Tim,
Mhm.
discovered the faxes and the phone calls and stuff, the kind of secret was out in the open. George actually came to the States and was living with Julie. I
In
think
the States.
in the States. I think they got an apartment, was my understanding. Or
Well, I think, yeah. I mean, and her and her husband had split.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it was very brief. This living
Yeah.
together thing in the States was like a month.
Right.
And during this time, Julie's mom,
was staying with her.
Julia, was staying with Julie. She immediately
Did not
sized
like
up
him.
this guy, George, and was like, actually had a huge fight with him and was like, I know what you are. You're the kind of guy who preys on women. You're after money. I don't believe a word you're saying about anything, and had a huge fight that led to George. Like, that fight is what like incentivized George to be like, I gotta leave and go back to the Greece, and you need to come with me.
I mean,
Right. Oof.
he had attacked her.
Yeah.
And he
Wait, he being
He
George
attacked the mom
he
or
ta-
attacked
yeah,
the,
he physically assaulted her. He
he
grabbed her by
grabbed
the
her.
throat.
he grabbed Julia's mom.
Mhm.
Yes, by the
Wow.
throat. Yeah. And the police were called.
Mm-hmm.
And what ended up happening was the authorities basically said to him, so here's the thing. If you don't leave this country, we're going to pursue charges.
Gotcha.
So
That's nice to have that option.
it is, but
Not everybody gets that.
No.
Oh, so if I just leave, I'm okay? All right.
right. So that's kind of what he did.
Right. And then he took her with him.
Yes.
And this woman left after this guy assaulted her mother.
correct.
Okay. I can understand that.
So and also let's remind you, she left without her daughter,
Yeah.
right? She left everything behind without her friends, and she goes to Kavala.
Well, yeah, you said you took all of her worldly possessions
She took-
except for one,
Well,
her
I mean, her
daughter.
daughter's not her worldly possession, but yes,
guess
I know
not.
what you mean.
Well, the other worldly possession was that when the marriage ended, which it did in November '98, right before she moved to Kavala.
Mm-hmm.
She received I believe
A
six.
very hefty.
I've seen 6 and 8. Did you confirm?
I did too, and
Yeah.
I couldn't.
So somewhere between a $600,000 and $800,000
$1,000 payout
settlement.
with divorce settlement.
Oh,
Tim.
okay.
Right. And of course, she opened up a bank account for her Greek George baby man.
Mm-hmm. Puts $140,000 of the settlement in the
Okay.
joint account with George because he wants to go back to Kavala and put the money into a taxi company in Greece,
A business.
as
Sure.
one does.
Why not?
Yeah.
Zorba,
Dun, dun,
the
yeah.
taxi company. All right.
Yeah. I mean, and her friends were not psyched. I mean, they were.
Why would they be?
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
exactly. I mean, it's just interesting because it's interesting when your friends start really making it known that they think you're crazy.
Right. I mean, is she having a midlife crisis of sorts? Was she too young for
Well,
that?
as Kim said, she's having
Depression.
mental issues, right?
Right.
And so there's a question of like, look, she is a woman who, for most of her life, had been treated like as how society treats beautiful women,
Right.
Right.
So you get everything, doors are opening, and it's like she's
Mhm.
getting older, her looks are fading, she has a baby.
I mean,
it's like-
she was heavier, and not being able to take that weight off was really weighing.
So it could be one of these things where she's just having a total identity crisis meltdown, right? That she's getting depressed, but she's definitely having mental issues that led her to like really get into the fact that this guy was paying so much attention to her.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, and I think too that a lot of it was that her whole identity was her looks.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Her whole identity was being pretty and being noticed and being the hottest girl in the room.
Right.
I mean, I can relate.
Right. So you know the pain
I do.
of not.
I was going to say I can't relate.
For the first year of my life, I was the most beautiful child in the world.
Even in Trenton, I was not.
I'm hot in Schenectady.
Yeah.
There goes. Now we're going to get 1-star reviews
I
from
know.
Schenectady.
Hot in
Oh, my
Hoboken.
gosh.
Yeah.
Hocus.
Oh, Hocus. I've always wondered about that name. Every time I drive
Yeah.
past, I'm like, oh, Hocus. What is
Right.
that from? It's got to be.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
the
know
battle
what that
between Hohokus and Sikahocus.
Yeah, but I
Rages
think
on.
I think something was really going on with her internally, and I think
Yeah.
she was also in therapy, and I had read somewhere that the therapist was encouraging her to leave her husband,
Oh,
Oh.
I didn't see that. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
which
Do you know why?
I guess they felt like it wasn't a good match, that he wasn't as sensitive to her struggle, wasn't as attentive as he could be.
Oof. I
Which-
mean, every woman in America would be
Divorcing.
getting divorced.
Right.
If this
I mean,
therapist
except for
was-
me. But yes. Exactly. Exactly.
That's,
I was going to make a landscaper ignoring the bushes joke, but that would be ridiculous.
Which is an interesting thing, too, because that's got to be very disorienting.
Well,
Um,
hold on though. Like that's an interesting thing to say about this guy because he is taking her on these cruises, right, to try and lift her mood.
Yeah.
Seems like from what I'd read, he was trying to be attentive.
Yeah. Great
So,
dad.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
that's weird advice for the therapist. If that is actually what the therapist
Yeah. I
told
mean,
her.
it's
Was the therapist just on the boat?
the therapist was George.
It was just a rando on the
It
boat.
was George in
oh, I'm a
disguise."
therapist. What's your problem, lady? Sit next to
Yes, my name is George, and
Right.
you should leave your wife immediately.
right.
That's
me. One
my,
star.
That's my Greek accent,
Yeah,
ladies and
one-
gentlemen.
one star. That is a
Greece,
one
The
star.
entire country of Greece has just
Yeah.
given us.
There you go.
But
one
Julie
star.
was very excited
To go to
to
Greece.
begin this chapter
Sure.
in,
Yeah.
in her life. I mean,
Greece
and she wanted to bring her daughter with her.
Oh.
But
It was not to be.
it wasn't.
Oh, so Tim was just like, no.
Right.
You can go,
Exactly.
but the kid stays here.
Exactly.
with the
Him
same
and,
people.
and
their
like
mom.
her mom
Right.
Yeah.
and everybody was like, no, you're not taking the baby to Greece.
Right.
Right.
Her mom with fresh choke prints on her neck,
Exactly.
Fuck you. You're not taking the
Her
kid.
mom
Right.
actually had a tattoo done on the choke print, so she could always
No,
remind.
she did.
Really?
No.
No, I'm kidding. That didn't happen. That's not a thing.
Wow. You're the only one that's tolerable. What does that say about us? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So she's starting anew in Greece.
Yeah.
End of story, right? This is great.
Yeah,
Happy
that's
ending.
great.
All
Happy
right.
ending.
it's-
Anyway, so let's
Oh,
move on
wait.
to our
I
next
feel like we're
case.
missing something.
Well,
Oh, right.
so
Final.
she's in Greece, and together they enjoy all the things that you do when you arrive in a new place with your honey, and you're going to start this new life. So they enjoyed some sightseeing and partaking in some authentic Greek foods and shopping at the local markets and enjoying the warm Mediterranean sea air. And
Sounds great.
It was the beginning of their life together.
Okay.
And on January 8th, 1999, Julie and George would obtain their marriage license.
So she was officially divorced at this point.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay.
The settlement had been paid out.
Right.
She was
Okay.
ready to make
Yeah,
a
she
go
got the
of it.
joint bank account. Everything's set.
Right. And it was interesting because there came a point where she started having second thoughts. She reportedly was missing her kid.
Bad.
And-
She was really missing her kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was. I mean, she was a good mom, and leaving her daughter
Well,
behind
but,
did not check the box of good mom.
Good mom, maybe not great mom, is what you're thinking. Right?
Well,
Well, look, I'm not going to judge, but I'm
Right.
going to judge. For me personally, and this is just, there's no world where I'm leaving my daughter for some rando dude.
right.
Well,
but-
I think. I mean, just to give her.
But look,
I cut her a
but
little
the
slack.
thing is,
Like
yes,
she really did want her daughter with
she
her.
she
and I think
did, she did, and
I think she thought she was going to figure out a way to make it work, even though,
Yeah.
like, if you're using logic, it's like it's not going to work. You're in a small town in Greece. Your
right.
daughter's in New Jersey. There's no way this is going to work.
Yeah.
But I don't think she was thinking logically.
She wasn't thinking logically, and
she
she
was in a
wasn't. She wasn't
Mentally-
thinking through, but
Yeah.
wasn't, because the reality of it is too is if she was thinking about it, she would realize, yeah, I don't really know this guy,
Right.
and since I don't really know this guy, should I have my kid around him?
Well, but the thing is, what she did know was, like, he assaulted her mom. He moved in very quickly to, like, like there was just, like, all the sort of red flags.
Yeah.
But I think you said earlier, like, she was like a giddy teenager.
Yeah,
right,
well,
from the
because I
attention.
think she had
and it-
missed those feelings,
that's
those
exactly right.
feelings of like, oh my God, look,
Yeah.
oh my God, he's looking at me.
And
I mean-
I think it put her in this mind state of, like, almost like teenagerness, where you're like, you're not really thinking about consequences or logic. And there's no other explanation for her being like, yes, great, I'm going to put a bunch of money in a bank account for a cab company in Greece, leave my daughter and my mom, who you just assaulted, and move to another country and marry you.
Well, a lot of movies start that way. No?
What, like the new J-Lo thing? Which I've not watched. I've only seen the trailer.
Sure.
I've not watched.
Sure.
Van Cleef watched it and
Of
was
course
like,
you did.
know.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's having second thoughts. She's in Greece.
Yeah,
She's
friends
like,
would.
you know what? I'm getting a little sick of listening to Yanni every day. These
Nobody gets sick of listening to Yanni
every day.
every day.
I love Yanni.
I know.
It is one of the most shocking things about you, and I love it.
It's
I went to
pretty-
see him as a joke. We went to make fun, and then I walked out a fan of Yanni.
and then he took me to a Yanni.
I
How
did.
did you like it?
It was fine. It was good.
It was fine.
It was good. It was.
You said you loved it.
I did.
You said you fucking loved it.
I don't
No,
know if I
kid.
said I fucking.
It was
loved
tolerable.
It was.
It was tolerant. It was like
It
Jerry.
was like Jerry.
It was a little Jerry-ish.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so now what?
So she was now calling friends and just sort of lamenting about, I think I made a big mistake, and I don't think that I can.
When her friend's like, told you so, 1 star.
Yeah, I think.
Listen
I
to
don't-
me, 333.
Exactly. You should have listened to me. You should have listened
Okay,
to
you
me.
guys.
All
All
right,
right, all right. Simmer down.
Yeah,
All right,
putting you in the
right,
middle,
right,
you got
sorry.
stereo
Simmer
assholes.
down.
This new this new configuration may not be the way to go.
Oh my God.
we can yeah. Anyways,
All right.
Anyway, so friends would report that the last time anyone spoke to her was January 6th, and that Julie was just like, she wanted to come home and was ready to just
Up and leave.
up and leave. Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
And she goes missing.
well, yeah, pretty much.
Sorry, I don't mean to jump.
No, but it's pretty much exactly what happened.
well, and just to remind, like this is 99, so cell phones are starting, but like we're way before the time when everybody
yeah.
had a phone check-in. So like
100%.
she,
yeah.
spoke to her family on January 6th.
Right. I
They
mean, she's
weren't-
not texting them. She's not like to
Well,
make a phone call was a whole production. It's
That
like,
costs a
okay.
lot of money.
Right.
Yeah, and you
So
had to
you
like
caught-
dial. It was like a whole thing with the operators, and so now it's like operators. Oh my God,
Right.
But she's not missing in the sense that nobody would think she was missing because she's only reaching out to them, every couple
Right.
of weeks. So there's no
Alarm bells.
There's
There's
no alarm
no.
bells.
when do the alarm bells start to sound?
Well, George reported Julia missing on January 10th,
Oh,
1999.
okay.
And he had reported that, well, that they had gotten into a heated argument and that they decided to just take a break,
Mhm.
walk it off, cool down, and reconvene, but that she had never returned. So that was
and he specifically said he left her at a McDonald's.
right.
And I don't know where they were. I don't exactly remember where they were, but he said I left her at a McDonald's, so she's fine. She was fine, and then I didn't see her
Right.
again.
She just
Right.
disappeared.
just disappeared after that.
All that delicious Greek food and you're eating at McDonald's. that is a crime as well as
All
the
that, but
crime
they,
we're gonna
all
get
they
to.
sell there is, gyro Big
Gyro
Macs
flies,
and
fries.
Greek fries,
Greek fries,
which
yeah,
is authentic Greek food.
right. Big Mac with lamb.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he even did the police had him go on TV, and he initially wasn't really wanting to do that,
Right.
but he did go on TV and
Sing, dance, whatnot.
Put a flower in his mouth.
He's like, I'm reluctant. I don't have any talents.
right.
Yeah.
Uh,
So they had him go on and talk about, where he saw her last,
Mhm.
what she
Sure.
what she was wearing, and all this,
Right.
and it led to no leads.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
and the police were a little surprised at his reluctance.
Right. They're living together. I mean, they.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
they're married.
So they
they're
had this fight
together.
at McDonald's. They allegedly go off in separate directions, and then she doesn't show up. And then how long till he reports her missing? A day or two, or
it was for
it was he had it was
2
about
days,
two and
yeah.
a half. Well, it was a few days later.
talking to you, Mike.
It was a few days later.
Gotcha.
All
right.
but
Was he, by the way, a taxi owning guy at this point, or is he still working on
no,
boats?
no, I don't think that they had even.
Oh, he's just living off the money. she's
Right.
Put in the account.
Right,
Hmm.
right. So on January 26, 1999, it was a little over 2 weeks after the police had started interrogating him, because as the last person to see her, they were trying to garner information. And he confessed to strangling her.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, can I just ask a point? This is a logistics thing. Didn't they found the suitcase before that?
I
That's how I read it. Was they found
they found the
the
suit,
suitcase and then
and then he
he
confessed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the suitcase.
Can we?
Go back?
Yes.
Yeah. Can we go back? Let's just
Right.
pretend we didn't.
Yeah. Say that.
All
Yeah.
right, hold on. Wow. I can't wait to hear more right after this quick word from our sponsors. Now we're back to Slaycation.
So yeah, So he'd reported her missing. He'd gone on TV, told the story about McDonald's and the fight and what she was wearing, and nobody saw her again until it's January 26th, right?
Yes.
January 26th, 1999. So 16 days after he reported her missing, 20 days after the last time she spoke to her family, who are now obviously panicked.
Mm-hmm.
He makes a confession.
No,
Kim.
no, he does not.
He does not. They find the suitcase. I don't even know the story, and I know that there's a suitcase that gets found.
There's a suitcase. Okay.
Kim hates suitcases.
Oh, there's a
Kim's
lot
like, I
of
really don't like
suitcases.
this detail of the story.
Right.
Okay, so it's
26 days later.
so yeah,
Everybody's
26.
a zombie.
Okay, so so it's January 26, 1999. It's now 16 days after he's reported her missing. He's gone on TV. No one's seen her. He's gone on TV to explain what she was wearing, who to look for. No one has seen this woman. Julie's just missing. Last time she spoke to her family was January 6th.
Okay, so it's been everybody's freaking out.
Everyone's now like really worried.
Okay.
So January 26th, 1999, in northern Greece, a suitcase is found in a swamp. Okay.
Suitcase.
A suitcase. When the suitcase is opened, they find a burnt and beheaded body.
Eee,
And they quickly determine
it's her.
or that they're able to determine that it's Julie.
But no head.
No head.
Just a body stuffed in a suitcase in a swamp
In a swamp.
in Greece.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so at this point, he's suspect number one.
Yep.
Last person who saw her, and nobody's seen or heard from her since, and he's admitted that they had a fight, and it's not looking good for George.
Right.
I
And
mean,
they
it's
definitely
worse
identified
for-
it as
for
her,
her. Yeah.
like fingerprints or whatever.
I don't know exactly how they identified, but
Okay.
they were very certain that
Right.
it was her.
Because if you're going to go through the trouble of cutting off the head, you got to cut off the hands too. Right?
Is this your takeaway already from the episode?
It's not
What is
takeaway.
that? Jesus,
It's,
Kim.
it's a serial killer pro tip. Sorry.
It's I mean, this is a whole separate thing, but did they find the body first? Because I understood it that he led them to her body after
Oh.
um
Oh.
after they had grilled him and
Well, you tend to do better research than me, so I'm gonna go with that. That sounds
well
yeah. I mean, if that then
I mean, the interesting thing too is that there's all this conflicting
oh my
uh,
God, Kim's totally right. I read my notes wrong.
Jerry
Oh my
is
God.
the only one that's tolerable. Or did she spell terrible?
Jerry is the only one whose how she spells should be fired.
So
No.
wait a
I
second.
completely misread. I've had us redo this twice, and I absolutely totally
I think we
misread
leave
my notes.
I think we leave it all in.
Yeah, I
Note to
Yeah.
editor.
my husband often
We-
refers to me as confidently incorrect,
Right.
and I think what we have here
Oh.
is
Your business
I
partner
love
too.
Brian.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah. we have Exhibit A, Your Honor.
Right.
I'm just misreading. Kim, that's why Kim, every time we try to redo it, she's like, then he confessed. I'm like, no, stop saying that. They
Right.
found the suitcase. Yes, you are 100,000% correct. He 100,000% confessed to them
Yes.
and then led them to the suitcase.
Yes.
All right. March
He-
1st, the day Kim was correct.
I would say you could mark it as a day it was confidently incorrect, but it happened so frequently
Right.
that
Right.
Oh my God. You
Right.
guys.
All right. All right. So wait.
Anyway, so
okay.
he confessed.
What made him confess, though?
The police were just riding him,
Oh.
and
I thought it was because they found a suitcase. No. Wait. The police were riding him, and then he just
he
couldn't.
he cracked.
He cracked.
I mean, it was just
Ugh. He was playing it perfectly.
was he?
I don't know.
Anyway, so he admits he stuffed her body in a suitcase, and
And he led them to the suitcase.
yes,
Gotcha.
And he had tried, and like Jerry gave a very vivid, correct description of her body, which was she was decapitated. He had tried to set her on fire. Um, so he needed to take her head off, allegedly, because he couldn't fit her in the suitcase.
Oh, that's why he did it?
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
like get a bigger suitcase, dude.
I know.
Yeah.
Like really? Like
Greece-
that's the solution.
But
No.
look,
Is
He
chop
got
the
that
head off.
the
So-
biggest one in Greece. It just
I'm pretty sure he could have gotten a bigger suitcase.
right.
yeah. But look, he did kiss her decapitated head before throwing it into the sea.
Wait, what?
Stop. This is
Wait, he
horrible.
did what?
He kissed.
Give Julia's baby macho man a
We
kiss.
just got 1 stars from so many
Oh,
people.
I'm giving you 1 star.
I don't think any of us are tolerable in this episode.
Oh my god. He kissed the head and then threw it in the sea?
To the Aegean Sea.
That's right. The Aegean Sea.
God, people are fucked up.
Right,
Oh
but
my
we're the
God.
assholes.
Right,
We're the
We're the
assholes.
assholes. This
I didn't
guy
like
is
that joke you
chopping
said.
Yeah, chopping his wife's head off and kissing it before throwing it in the sea and burning her body.
By the way, how do they know
Holy
that
shit.
detail?
He told him.
He
Yeah.
told them?
He told them.
Was he trying to get like some time off?
He-
Hey, I gave her a kiss.
He really was. I mean, he was.
What?
He was saying that this all was a passionate rage that he was in
Right.
because she said,
Oh, because she was leaving.
"I'm gonna go home. I miss
Right.
my daughter."
Yeah.
And this was his answer, and he thought by explaining all of the kissing the head and the passionate rage that this would somehow make it a crime of passion,
Right. Right.
which
right.
theoretically he thought would get him a lesser sentence or some kind of sympathy.
Did it work?
Well,
Well,
Come to
and
Greece.
now a word for McDonald's.
Oh my god.
Holy shit! This
And
fucking
now-
case.
yeah.
Suitcase.
I mean,
Yeah.
this poor.
So,
Also, this poor woman's. The poor Julie. I mean, this is horrible. She's this young woman who's just
Yeah.
trying to like live her life. She was having all of these mental struggles. This was
she was,
her
and and I have to
craziness
say,
and-
I felt sorry for her because, she didn't have an easy childhood. Her parents had a very volatile relationship, and I get it. Having come from one myself, having come from crazy, I understand I understand how one leans into the crazy instead of it's and you just when you don't have the example of what a relationship looks like, being a good mother looks like, you're kind of left to figure out a lot of that stuff yourself.
Right.
And she really just was not equipped with the tools. She just wasn't, and there was really nobody there
Right.
to
Well, it seems like the tragedy is like she kind of had it. Unless there was really stuff uncovered between her and her husband that we don't know.
We've
But
never.
No, I mean
seen anything like that.
he seemed like a decent guy.
right. I'm just saying, like she had the potential, not the dream per se, but she had a good thing
A
going,
stable
and then
situation.
the craziness forced her out of that into the hands of.
I mean, he was a
murderer.
little weird. He was into Civil War reenactments, and I personally think that's a little strange. But look, that certainly doesn't mean he's not a good husband.
Which side?
He was. I don't know,
Okay.
but
That would tell us everything we need to know.
It really
Yeah.
would.
Yeah. So she did lean into the crazy.
she
and,
did. I mean,
and also her
she
poor
was
mom.
extreme. Well,
Her mom, who was like,
her mother had all kinds of issues with alcohol and addiction, and Julie, as a kid, had run away from home several times. and
Oh, so
was-
her relationship with her mom was not great. You're saying,
She,
which could explain why the
yeah,
strangle,
You
the
mean
fight with George
why
and her mom
why it was okay for
was
him
not
to,
a deal breaker.
right? Well, maybe, or maybe it wouldn't have mattered because she wanted this to work. She wanted this
Right.
to,
I mean, look, Kim's tried to strangle my mom several times.
That is
and
not true. I love you, Dana. Don't believe what he's saying. Don't believe it. It's lies.
It is lies.
Okay, thank you. Anyway, but I think she
In her mind, though,
She-
she's
Anyway,
Wow.
he's trying to get me
You're
in
trying
trouble.
to, yeah, you really are. Dana will fuck you up, by the way.
She will.
She will fuck you up. So you better
Oh
watch it.
my goodness. But yeah, so it was.
Luckily, she doesn't know how to give stars.
She
to
doesn't
the
know how to
show.
use the internet, so she can't listen to the show.
She can't give it a 5 star. 1 star.
But I think too. I think that there was this sort of deep-seated insecurity with her as well, because I think that when you are so focused on your looks, I think that sort of speaks to a very deep-seated insecurity,
Right.
because that's what's keeping you up. That's
Yeah.
your whole sense of self, your whole self-esteem is based on that.
Right.
And in fact, there was a story that I had read about her hounding her husband about his secretary, because for some reason she was very threatened by the fact that he had this woman working for him.
Uh-huh.
And she would literally bully the secretary.
Huh.
Oh.
Okay.
Which
I mean,
is weird.
I feel like that's not that uncommon.
I don't know. I think that's crazy.
What, to
I'm
have
not,
your
I'm not
wife?
saying it's not crazy, but like I don't think it's that uncommon for women to be like
To
a
bully
little
the
iffy
secretary.
about like the hot secretary at the office.
Kim, did you say she was hot?
I did not.
I'm assuming.
But
Why would you hire a secretary that's not?
Wow.
you
Right?
raise a good point. Maybe I'm the one.
I'm really just trying to
Maybe
get rid of my
I'm
tolerable.
the
I
one.
think you are getting rid of your tolerance. I wonder if Kim and I are becoming more tolerable.
I'm actively. This is the episode where I actively
Right.
work to eliminate my.
You're like one of
I
those
don't wanna be
child stars,
tolerable.
like the Hannah Montana is sick of being the goody two. Like you're having your Miley Cyrus moment over
my
here.
God.
Like gonna be
No,
naked and
But really, I mean, she's probably hot.
Well, here's the thing.
like, why would she be jealous? Like, but-
She got the secretary eventually quit, and he
because she was
said,
being bullied by the wife of the owner.
I mean, that's
well,
gotta be
and
annoying.
he said he would hire an ugly.
No.
He did.
Thank you. So then she was hot. If he's saying I'll hire an ugly
Maybe,
person.
yeah.
Did he say
Can I just-
ugly
wait,
or uglier?
To go off tangent just a second, have you guys ever walked into an office of somebody and the secretary was like, ugh, and you thought, oh, maybe
As like
like
good
just,
looking or not?
No,
good looking?
not good looking. Like him, like he said he would hire somebody. Like, have you ever walked into an office and saw the woman sitting at the desk or the secretary and was like, oh, she's there because there's no way anything is going to happen?
Oh,
like-
like preventatively, like the wife was involved in the hire.
Right.
I don't go. First of all, I don't go in that many offices.
Right.
I was gonna say we
like-
mostly work in the film and TV business, so
Yeah,
it's
so
like
we're like-
everybody's like attractive,
Yeah,
and you would be like suspicious if they weren't.
yeah.
Like, but also this feels like a setup.
I'm gonna.
And I'm not gonna answer.
I'm gonna stop. I'm just gonna go.
This
Yeah.
definitely feels like a setup,
That's hilarious.
right?
But yeah,
If you walk in and there's a dude as the secretary
You're probably in my office.
and the assistant, yeah, well, yeah, you're either at Jerry's office or right.
Okay, so going back to our case, so George has confessed. He's led them to the body.
Feels open and shut.
He is then in jail, and in February 8th, which is about 2 weeks after he led them to the body, he said, "Listen, the only punishment that I deserve is death,"
Yep,
right?
he said
which
that.
is convenient to say in Greece because they don't have the death penalty.
Oh,
right. Yeah.
So
rewrite the law for me.
yeah. So then a couple weeks later, February 27th, Tim, her ex-husband, flies to Greece with the permission of the Greek authorities to retrieve
Oh,
the body.
to murder George.
And multiple services are held at home. She's cremated, and her ashes are scattered at a campground in Cape May, New Jersey, which is a place she loved to visit as a child.
And 4 jurors and a panel of 3 judges found Mr. Skiadopoulos guilty of premeditated murder, guilty of 3 misdemeanor counts, which included perjury and false testimony and desecrating the dead. He was given the maximum sentence of life in prison without parole.
Goodbye, George. And he tried so
kill
hard
himself.
to call himself, to get the mental instability,
Yeah.
insanity, and I kissed her. All the things he'd done.
Yeah.
He tried to say that would show that he was insane
Right.
and mentally unstable, and nobody bought it.
Right, because that's the catch-22. You can't say you're crazy because look at all the crazy things I said.
Right.
If you know you're crazy enough, then
Right.
yeah.
So when you say, I'm going to, give me death or whatever, what do you do when you're found guilty and sentenced to life? You appeal. That's what you do.
you appeal for death.
No, you
Oh.
appeal. Because 3 years later, he
He's
would win an appeal, telling the court during the hearing, I was in a haze when she said she would leave me. I had planned my life with her. It was a moment of intense passion.
Is that what he sounded like?
Well, more with the Greek accent, though.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You want to try that again?
No, it was pretty good. I don't want to hear that again. All right, wait.
So his sentence was then reduced to 23 years, and he served 8.
What?
So
This fucker's out?
Yes.
Yeah, he's been out for decades.
Yes. And
Back on the boat?
he was given reduced time based on his good behavior and all this other nonsense. And, it was just a crazy, weird. They reduced him to 23. What was it?
it was reduced to 23 years. He got out in 8.
Yeah.
He was released from prison in 2007 and resumed his life in Kavala, Greece.
He's now the president of Greece.
Well, he's not the president, but he is married with children.
Running the economy. Married with children and
Yes.
running is he running the taxi?
Well, that I don't know, but I know that he married.
This is
Wait a second.
this is him with Julie on the ship.
Right.
Oh, that was the other thing too that she was buying him. He was balding, so she was going to hook him up with one of those treatments that they do.
Right.
So, and then I was
He
curious.
could have used the hair of his eyebrow.
The hair in his
He has
unibrow.
he has a
all of
he has a
Greece is
big
upset
thick
with us,
he has a big thick unibrow.
And then I was curious what happened to her daughter, right? Because
Well, her father,
yeah,
and
raised her.
she's a happy, well-adjusted
The kid's doing it.
teen. Yeah,
This is her.
look at her;
This is
she's
from, a
adorable.
couple years ago.
Right.
She is adorable.
Oh, she is
Yeah.
very
And
cute.
there's no doubt that her dad offered her a solid,
Yeah.
stable.
Well, she was young enough when mom left, right? I mean, she was very young.
Yeah,
She was 3.
she was a baby.
So she
toddler.
really didn't know her mom.
No.
So
is really
it makes
sad.
it's sad, but also makes it
Well, I guess
less
the
traumatic,
trauma.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I hate to say it, but it does
yeah.
seem to make it less traumatic. Wow.
The daughter will not eat Greek food, though. That is the one thing.
That's not true.
That's not true.
Jerry is going all in. I like it. I like it.
Oh my God, you guys!
Uh,
But I have to say, again, and this is just my takeaway.
Listen to your mom. Oh, sorry.
It's hard for people to listen to their moms, especially if they're like, my mom's crazy.
That is true.
Um,
That is very true.
although my mom was crazy and she had this uncanny ability to be right. So
Right.
I don't know. But, I think the takeaway really is if all your friends are telling you that what you're telling them is sounding batshit crazy, I think it would behoove you to take a minute and just ponder, look within and ask yourself, could it be?
Maybe it's me.
Right. I mean, I think we all could benefit from just taking a moment and
Right.
just saying to ourselves, okay, everyone is telling me this is a bad idea.
Right. Yeah, but you don't strike me as the kind of person
What,
that-
that stops and looks within?
Well,
It's all
it-
I do.
to
That's
have
all I
to have
do.
other people tell you stuff,
Right.
and you're like, oh, I will listen to them.
Well, no, but I do. People that I love and care about, I do care about what they say, and people that I trust that have my best interest.
Mm-hmm.
I,
Mm-hmm.
I
Who are these people? That aren't me, apparently.
of course it's you.
I mean, like, it's easy to sit here and I mean, I agree. It's an easy, but it's like to say like, oh, if people are around you, listen to them.
Not
But
necessarily
it's
do
really
what they
hard
say,
to, like, when
but
you're in that.
but I think it's something to just take pause.
But usually, people getting in these situations are having some sort of mental instability or
no
or an
doubt.
issue that's the very thing that makes it impossible for them to stop and go like, huh, maybe my mom and all my friends are right,
against
and,
me.
like,
Maybe they're
but
against me.
That's where your brain
And they don't want
goes.
me to be happy.
Here,
And the
that's-
person, especially if it's someone like this guy who looks like, I mean, he was clearly fucked up and probably trying to get her for her
Well, there was a
money.
lot of stuff with. I mean,
Right,
he
so-
had been hospitalized for mental
oh.
issues.
So he's probably manipulating her and
He
saying
assaulted his
they're-
father, pushed him down a flight of stairs. I mean, he has a
So
history
he's got
of
violence.
violence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
violence.
And so he's probably saying to her like, they're all, your mom's terrible and your husband's
Mm.
terrible. Everyone's against you. They
Right.
just don't want you to be happy.
Well, he would tell her
Right.
that, I will love you, that you need to be with me because I will love you.
Yeah.
your
And that's the
husband
thing.
is
Once
not
someone gets in
loving
your
you.
ear like that,
That
and
is
you're
true.
in that state, all the people in the world can tell you, this is bad for you, and you're not going to.
So what do we do?
Well, hold on a second, though. He killed her because she said, I'm leaving.
You're correct.
But I'm saying, like, was there anything weird or crazy with them when she wasn't leaving him?
Well, he assaulted her mother.
Yeah, but that was
He
because
assaulted her mother. Oh wait, he did assault.
yeah,
her
but
mother. Right.
but that was
Right, right.
earlier
Yeah.
because the mom was trying to stop them being together. So
Right.
once she came to Greece and they were together and everything was quote unquote fine, like was
Just
it
so you
fine?
understand the timeline, from assaulting his mother was October 1998
That was here in the
she-
States.
in the States.
Right.
She was dead less than 2.5 months
Yeah.
later in Greece. Like, it was not a long
Oh,
time.
they didn't have a long period in Greece together.
No, they
No,
were
no.
they were
Okay.
It was like
They didn't even have a long
But they did get
period
married.
together. I don't think they had gotten
they-
married.
they had
they had gotten the marriage license.
license.
So
Yeah.
that's where you're like, okay, you're doing way too much, way too fast, way too soon.
which was what everyone was
Exactly.
saying, right? So
Right.
so the phone bills were found out in July. He comes over to live with her in September, October,
Mhm.
assaults the mom. November, they go to
Okay, I didn't realize it
Greece.
was that condensed. Yeah.
December, they have the time together in Greece. And then early January, he kills her.
Right.
So it's this very quick timeline.
yeah.
Right. But it
Mhm.
is, he did snap because she's like he had spent, or in his mind, like he got the girl to come, they were going to be
Yeah.
together, and then here she is like, nah, you know what, I'm thinking I'm
Yeah.
going to go back, and then he went crazy.
Yeah. And it's weird because it's like if he was after her money, he had it in the joint bank account
Right.
already. Killing her does not accomplish.
Right.
Like I mean, I think maybe he thought he was going to get away with it, but like,
But also, you said premeditated murder, but like, was it a premeditated murder, or was it a murder in the heat of her decision to leave, and then suddenly
It very
he's
well
gone?
could have been.
yeah, it's unclear.
I'm just saying it's not. It's not like one of those guy who lures the girl and then kills her, takes her money, and then like is off
Right.
looking for the next victim. It
Right.
feels like he's just
A mentally unstable
yet passionate,
opportunist.
yet passionate romantic Greek
Right.
who just does everything all out, like Jerry on this episode.
Oh, I've not been going all out. This is 62%.
We've seen nothing
Yeah.
yet.
Yes.
Wait until the
All right.
next one.
There is a book
so-
on this case for anybody that wants to do an even deeper dive called
Grease 2, The Search for Curly's Gold.
called Blind Passion, a true story of seduction, obsession, and murder by John Glatt.
We forgot to mention they're both blind.
Blind passion.
Isn't that weird? They're not blind. Why is it called that? Coda, one other interesting note. September 2001. A skull is found floating in the Aegean Sea near Kavala, Greece.
That's
A
right.
tourist finds a
Finds the
skull
skull.
floating in the water.
With kiss prints. No? Too soon?
Oh, wow.
What?
Macho baby man.
Yeah.
Tattooed.
That should be the takeaway. If someone says they're macho baby man,
That's a red flag.
Baby
believe them.
man. If
Believe
someone
them.
calls
If they're
themselves baby
telling
man,
you that they're yours, that's when you
Yeah,
go,
if you're
no,
like, "I'm baby
that is
man."
not what I signed up.
yeah, I can't even imagine. Kim, I'm your baby man.
Kim would be like, "You're my get the fuck out man."
Yeah.
All right, Coroner Minas Georgius. Minas Georgius, I don't know how to say his name. The coroner states that based on the condition of the skull, it belonged to a woman who was between 24 and 30 years old and had been in the water for about 3 years, which was exactly consistent with the timeline of Julie Scully's murder in January 1999. Dental remains, of course, were not sufficient at this point, and DNA test was inconclusive, but they are quite confident that this was the skull that was belonging to Julie. Go ahead. What is it you're trying to?
No, nothing.
Go ahead.
Nope.
Say it.
Just her name is Scully.
You just.
Oh my God.
We
People
found
were
a
getting 0 stars now.
They're going to invent 0 stars just to give it to us.
There are no 0 stars, but people are calling Apple and demanding that they add 0 stars as an option
Exactly.
for Slaycation. They're like, we were Slaycators, but now we have to give them 0 stars.
0.
Scully.
We found
Oh my
we
gosh.
found a Scully. They'd be correct.
Oh my God.
What a fucked up case.
Yeah, so terrible.
Yeah. I mean, look.
At first I was mad at the lady for leaving her husband. I was like, this is why Kim and I don't go on cruises. I was upset. And then leaving her kid. But yeah, I mean, you add in the mental component.
Yeah.
It
I mean,
changes
that's
a lot.
the thing. You know, and depression,
Yeah.
it's insidious.
And then this guy knows to capitalize on it. But at the same time, I don't know, maybe he really loved her, but then he can't live without her. And he's also mental, so
Right.
he's got issues and prone to violence, obviously.
Yeah.
So there you have it. Anybody else have anything else? Or
I think when you're in a situation
so
like
no?
that.
Okay, good. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
All he does is interrupt the woman.
I know.
Well, look, the woman is going to say that if a woman finds herself in a situation like that, she should have just left. She shouldn't even told him she was having second
That's a
thoughts.
good point.
She should have just got on a plane and left.
Yeah, that's
Like if you're in a situation where you're with somebody and they're kind of prone to violence, you don't need to tell them shit.
Right.
No, that's a good point. Especially being in a place where you don't have a support system around you
Right.
at all. It's
Right.
like, you're
Go
right.
to the embassy.
And again, like
Right.
all of these things do make sense, but I just don't think I think her state of mind, her mental issues were not allowing her to think things through. And we don't know what happened at that, if they even went to McDonald's to have this argument, but like whatever
Right.
the argument was, we don't know what it was, what the context was, other than all we know is she said she really missed her daughter and wanted to be home with her. And, maybe she just thought she could say that to him and be okay, and wasn't really processing like the fact that he had, abused her mother and had a history of abuse. And
Right.
so,
Right.
I mean, I think all of these like logical ways, like I wish there was takeaway that was useful for someone who was in a mentally unstable place. Right. Because
Right.
these are all like require
And
some
the thing
degree
is
of like logic and self.
And the thing is she's an adult.
Right.
So you can't do anything because she's an adult.
Right. All right. Well, this should be in no way affect people's love of Yanni and Greece.
No.
No.
All right. Well, that's another episode of Slaycation.
Thank you for
Thank you.
joining us and being with us.
And if you
And a
like,
special shout out to our people,
yes.
Our yarn whores
all of
and our
you.
friends
Yeah.
in Cape Town.
And if
All
you
of
like what you
our
hear,
Ravelry,
Our
okay.
Slaycators.
you are international.
So you guys don't want this to end, do you?
We're having a great time.
Okay, I guess so.
We like being with you.
If you like what you heard, God bless you. And also, let us know. The first.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.